Boom! The race! Welcome back. Well, it was an interesting race. Finally, Charles Leclerc won, right? So let's see what happened on the race. The start of the Grand Prix after the sprint race, which was not very interesting. Nothing much happened. In the qualification, you saw already Hamilton crashed and Russell crashed. They repaired the car. Here you go. And for the sprint race, it was more or less the same. Alonso starting from the back, Vettel starting from the back. So the first corner. This time Sainz did not attack Leclerc. However, Russell did attack Sainz, that had to go out of the track to try to keep the position, where you could actually see the difference in speed between the Red Bull, the Ferrari, and the Mercedes of George Russell. Hamilton, that was kind of stuck behind the Haas cars and the Esteban Ocon, and Perez, that tried to be a little bit tricky. As you can see here, there is space for both cars. However, you can see like Russell gave a lot of space to Perez, and Perez crashed into Russell. This is my point of view. Apparently the FIA and some others have a different point of view, but here you can see there is a space. Like, he's already spinning and he's still inside the track without even touching the curb, and Russell got the penalty for this. I don't understand it. How this could happen. I really don't think. Like, you can see cars here going side to side, and this didn't happen. So George Russell, you can see here like the amount of space that Perez has still. Like, Russell didn't even go to the curb, and he got the penalty for this. I mean, I don't know. The stewards were kind of harsh this weekend with the track limits and everything. So anyway, in this corner, like if you go on the outside, you have like 70% of chance of getting out of the track if you don't lift the throttle. Anyway, so for the race lead, you can see here like Charles Leclerc, for example, overtaking for the first time Max Verstappen, because after this, like, Verstappen went into the pits straight away, so Carlos Sainz didn't attack him. So this is the first time. You can see Max coming to the pits here. Sainz stayed outside. Ocon stayed outside. Most of the people stayed outside while Verstappen went into the pits. You can see here Hamilton finally with the driver of the day voted by the people. Mick Schumacher defending very well, and in the end of the race he actually got ahead of Magnussen to a kind of decent race finishing. Looks like Mercedes actually have some problems with straight line speed. Until now, they were one of the fastest cars. The Mercedes was one of the most powerful engines, and this year it's not. So they are suffering with the straight line speed. Like, they have issues overtaking. So anyway, here with the DRS finally overtaking Magnussen, because before Schumacher had the DRS of Magnussen and he had the DRS of Schumacher, so it was kind of more difficult. You can see here as well Verstappen and Hamilton having a fight once again, even though Verstappen was like 1 second quicker than Hamilton after the pits. He had the hard tire, he had the medium tire from the beginning, 18 laps already. And you can see Verstappen pit, and Ferrari was not afraid of going for it this time. Finally, looks like they started to do something. And this is one of the most interesting things that happened during the race. You can see Guan Yu Zhou, you can see Fernando Alonso, Magnussen, Norris, and here you have Mick Schumacher fighting for a position. 5 cars getting it in there. Magnussen overtaking Alonso, Alonso being overtaken by Norris, Schumacher trying to overtake Zhou getting overtaken by everybody. As you can see here, he was last, he was first, and like in 3 corners he lost 4 positions. Alonso was attacking, and he also lost 2 positions. And anyway, so here we have the second overtaking of Charles Leclerc on Max Verstappen. Then, once again, Verstappen went into the pits to try to make another undercut to Charles Leclerc, which he did. Here again, 2.4 seconds. Not a bad stop. And here you go, the other action in the same corner like Perez and Russell, but you can see here, like, there is no space. Here there is actually no space. I don't know if it's Tsunoda or Gasly. It looks like it's Gasly. Anyway, you can see Vettel here, it's already spinning, but he is already outside of the track. Like, there is no space. But with Perez and Russell gave him space, but Perez was the one that closed in. This is my point of view. But anyway, both of them, Russell and Gasly, got a penalty for this. So Vettel's race got ruined for the second time in 2 days. On Saturday, I think it was Albon that kicked him, and this time it was Gasly. And this is the third overtaking for the lead of Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc that actually had a problem with the throttle. At the end, it looks like it's some mechanical issue that the throttle was not lifting off completely, and it remained like 30% on in every single corner, even if he lifted the foot of the pedal, which made Verstappen actually be able to catch him after the virtual safety car created by this. The engine of Carlos Sainz exploded, and you can see here got on flames. It was the funny part because he was on a slight hill, and no marshal was coming to help him. Like, he was trying to get out of the car, but if he got out of the car was going backwards. So this guy came in here, but you can see he's the only one. Like, there's other 2 people here that are looking when the car is on fire, right? And you can see the flames already reached to Sainz. It was kind of dangerous, kind of absurd. This should be really looked at from the Red Bull Ring marshals. They are volunteers, however, they should have enough experience in these kind of situations, right? It's not a new racetrack. So anyway, race win by Leclerc, and this is how the championship looks like. So, the prediction, what did I get? Let's see the finishing of the race. We have Leclerc, we have Verstappen, that was like 4 seconds behind, and little by little, thanks to the problem with Leclerc's pedal, that feared for his victory, he got closer, perhaps another 1 or 2 laps, and he would have snitched the victory off Leclerc. Mercedes in the podium once again. I think it's like the 4th race in the podium straight. Hamilton was in Silverstone. He was in Canada, and now he's here again, and I am not sure if he was in the previous race as well. But anyway, Mercedes are there. They are still 40 seconds away. They still have this like 0.4, 0.5 seconds gap with Red Bull and Ferrari that need to close, but still they also have a gap with the Alpines, for example, which is the 4th car right now. Ocon made a solid race, not disturbed by anyone, to be honest. He got overtaken by both Mercedes, but that's all the fight he had to do, right? The rest of the cars were not even close to him. Alonso, perhaps without the screw up that had Alpine with the nut or the bolt that was attached to the wheel in the virtual safety car that he was stopping, but he didn't. They didn't do it properly, so he got penalized a lot. But he had to stop again another lap later. And Ricciardo finally in the podium. I mean, in the points in the top 10, close to Lando Norris, and both has in the points. Once again, looks like this Austria, same like Silverstone, was kind of decent for the car. Mick Schumacher for the 2nd race in a row in the points, 8 points, very valuable points. And the race fastest lap was from Max Verstappen, thanks to the problem that Leclerc had on the pedal. Did I guess anything? Well, the first 2 no, this 2 no, I didn't guess anything for another week. However, I'm gonna be kind of satisfied because both Alpines were on the points. There is a Haas I didn't put. Gasly had a horrible weekend, and perhaps Haas should have been here. So let's see what the quiz said. After which year happened the team overdose between Barrichello and Schumacher, the incident, right? It was in 2002, actually. It was a year that Ferrari had a really good car. They were destroying everyone. However, they still thought that Schumacher needed the points. So they made Barrichello give the position to Schumacher in the finish line. Interesting fact. So that was more or less the weekend. What can we analyze from the weekend? Alpine looks like it's confirmed to be the 4th team. Mercedes is there. They didn't close the gap yet. They will have more upgrades in France and then in Hungary. I don't think they will close the gap of 0.5 seconds with Ferrari and Red Bull. It would be amazing if Mercedes could be there with them, but looks like they have like a lack of straight line speed, among other things. The porpoising looks like they don't have any more porpoising. Maybe France with big straight lines will be a real test with the porpoising to see if it's solved or not. We didn't see many cars with porpoising anymore. I saw the Williams that was bouncing like hell. I don't know if it was because of the porpoising or it was another problem. So yeah, and then you have the Haas that still in top 10. In theory, it's a team that will be bringing more updates, but McLaren or AlphaTauri, for example, should be teams that should be ahead of them. In theory, I mean, with the budget cap and everything, things should be more equal. So maybe we will see the Haas in the top 10 more regularly from now on. We are going to France in 2 weeks. We'll have a rest this weekend, and then next week we will have the race in Paul Ricard, and then we will go to Hungary for the summer break, finally. And we are crossing the Ecuador of the season already, so looks like we can start to make some analysis, right, for where the teams are, where the drivers are, how is the driver market and everything. So I'm gonna wait for Paul Ricard and Hungary, and after the Hungary race where the break starts, I think we will be making an analysis team by team, driver by driver, to see what's gonna happen on the second half of the season, where perhaps teams will not be bringing